Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I'm so excited to share some great astrological and galactic information with you today, especially about what is coming in the year 2026. I will touch a little bit on numerology, Chinese astrology, ancient pre-civilizations and their influence on 2026, creational thought, as well as galactic astrology and major planetary transits. Whew, okay. Also, I will have a second video sharing information about 2026 year ahead horoscopes with mini readings for each zodiac sign and their best gemstones for 2026. I did that in my last video and I had a lot of positive feedback, so I will include that. So it matters if you tell me things, I will respond. Um, just a quick little short background on myself for those who haven't seen my videos before. Again, my name is Caitlin. I've been blessed to be involved in metaphysics my whole life, in my 69th year, and parents that were very metaphysical, unusual back in the time era that I was born. But I got involved over many years in Kriya Yoga and then Reiki, Usui Shiki Ryoho Reiki, which I've been involved with for 28 years and still practice and teach, helping others to become Reiki masters and to do what I do. But in 2018, I started to really delve into astrology and learned quite a bit, and then found Julia Balaz with galactic astrology. And I have been so enjoying having become a galactic practitioner with Julia's group, but just enjoying learning more and more all the time about our galactic heritage and working with so many of you. So if you're enjoying my videos, please subscribe and share with your friends. I'm trying to build my channel, even though I've been involved in things for so many years. I'm pretty new to YouTube, and I'd like to be able to reach more people that would be interested in the topics that I share. And I plan to do a lot more teaching type videos for 2026. And I do welcome comments and even questions on my videos that I will try to answer to the best of my ability. So one little short more commercial here. I'd like to mention that we have a Quantum Soul Guidance Summit, which will start January 12th, going through January 15th. This is with Julia Balaz's group, and my talk is scheduled for Tuesday, January 13th at 12:50 p.m., and that's EST. My topic is called Shamanic Starseeds. It's elemental, a journey from Avalon to Lemuria through the second dimension. I will be sharing some inspiring information about the elementals, Lemuria, Avalon, and how we can heal through this journey. I have a beautiful guided imagery about the journey included in this presentation, so you don't want to miss that opportunity. So calling all fellow mer people to come listen and join in. Also, if you sign up, you will get the replay. So it's really worth your while to sign up. And here, Adriana has a wonderful program coming up as well on Lyra. And there's, I think, 20 or so of us presenting. So many wonderful topics and wonderful people. So, all right, let's get started. There's so much to cover. So I'm going to start off with talking a little bit about Chinese astrology for 2026, because it's the year of the fire horse, and that will begin on February 17th. The energy of the fire horse emphasizes movement forward, decision-making power through discernment, innovative freedom, and compassionate courage. This reminds me of the Pegasus winged horse energies, which are also influencing 2026. So, are you prepared to ride the powerful wave of change coming in 2026? Let's also take a moment to look a little bit at the numerology of 2026, which really truly is a 10-year. If you add it up, your 2, your 0, your 2, and your 6 comes to 10, which can reduce, obviously, to a 1 year. But my guides say there are two sides to the energy of 2026. The 10 energy is a completion message through the karma of a 0. This may signify an important completion type of connection between two ancient pre-civilizations, both carrying karma. With Lemuria, we first experienced attachments, and with Atlantis, we first experienced afflictions. My Pleiadian guides, I call them the purple peas, say many Lemurian souls reincarnated into Atlantis to fix their mistake of creating attachments and were quite vigilant, even zealot-like, about creating a return to unity, following the tenet of the law of one. Now, before I go into the story which led to the destruction of Atlantis, please know there were several phases or timelines of Atlantis that were very spiritual and very beautiful. In creational thought, I propose this possibility of how creation may happen. When I was quite young, I felt inspired by the Bible, especially 1 Corinthians 15, verses 43 through 58. And this is the King James Version. The part that stood out to me was there is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. Now, think about this. What if the soul, spirit body, and the earthy, natural body paired together simultaneously through a creational process? There is actually an amazing book called The Return of the Bird Tribes by Ken Carey. And in chapter 14, called Shadows in the Biological Mirror, on pages 157 through 165, Carey proposes this possibility of how human creation may have happened. There is a soul spirit, which may also be described as a galactic star angelic being, whom may have agreed to pair with an elemental earthly being, both desiring to experience starlight clothed in form with illumined soil and stone, agreeing to share one body vehicle together, in essence, creating a human angel. Think about that, a human angel. Carey wrote, which made me think of the Garden of Eden, that at first it was quite successful. Human angels were love motivated, living for what they loved. But over time, there was a change in the creational process. Egos were being born without their spiritual partner joining them in form. And suddenly, humans began, quote unquote, running from what they feared. So, this may be why Atlantis changed, losing all connection with the spiritual and focusing only on the ego. And tens of thousands of years later, here we are, barely with our toes into the new age of Aquarius and on the precipice of a possibility of another Atlantis disaster. The advent of AI is so reminiscent of egos without soul spirits connected. Think about that. Really, it stands out when you really think about that. So, are there enough of us connecting to our highest selves? Are there enough of us welcoming the embodiment of soul spirit living here now? And this makes me think of the story of the 100th monkey effect. Maybe many of you have heard of it. It's been certainly around since the 50s when the Japanese scientists on Koshima Island were studying the macaques, which are considered old world monkeys, really not baboons. It's interesting. They look like baboons, but they're not. So basically, in the story, what had happened is one of the scientists that were studying watched this like teenager macaque, and she accidentally dropped a sweet potato into the water. And instead of just pulling it out and eating it, she actually took her hands, I'm not sure what we call monkey hands, and started washing it with the water so that it came out clean. Okay, so then she tasted it and it tasted so much better. So she taught her brothers and sisters or cousins, and then they started teaching their parents. And I'm really shrinking this down. This story is much more advanced and a lot more if you want to research it. But they, over time, all of the macaques in the world were washing their sweet potatoes. And then I'm sure it went out even further than that. I didn't research that much of the story. But this is the incredibility of collective consciousness hitting a critical mass. Where is that? Where is that 100th monkey where all of a sudden everybody is into a possibly new dimension? Just throwing that out there. So could 2026 finally be the catalyst year of embodying our spiritual selves through returning to living for what we love? Anchoring, activating, awakening, accepting, and appreciating the new earth, positive, loving, ascending hologram here right now. So let's look again at 2026, those numbers, which also holds the vibration of the number 2, which represents both sides of everything, and the vibration of the master number 22, which adds up to 4. So this master number of double twos of 22 represents the vibrational frequency of the 4 over souls. So in cell or soul division, as a process, the 1 splits into 2. Okay? So we have divine feminine, yin, and divine masculine, yang. Then the 2 split into 4. So visualize 2 more circles under these 2. And the divine feminine becomes light feminine and dark feminine. And then the divine masculine becomes light masculine and dark masculine. So we have total of 4 oversouls. There is an incredible angelology, which my guides gave me many, many years ago, which demystifies this creational process. And I'll have to share a video specific to this topic sometime in 2026, because it is absolutely fascinating. All right, let's now dive into the astrology changes on deck for the year 2026. There are many planetary shifts with our planets, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Jupiter, which have all transitioned into new signs last year. And now in 2026, the energies of the new zodiac signs will all flow into place. Jupiter will remain in watery Cancer the first half of 2026 and then move into fiery Leo the second half of 2026. Both Saturn and Neptune continue their transits of watery Pisces as the 2026 starts off, but both will enter fiery Aries, where they will stay consistently for many years to come. Uranus continues its transit through earthy Taurus, but will move forward into airy Gemini in 2026, for 7 years. So in a nutshell, 2026 offers each of us many opportunities to become more present, innovative, successful, and spiritually developed. Creative visualization will be a natural way of life as many soul spirits reawaken to their true inner power. The key is to focus on what you choose to manifest with full love and creational awareness, which are both fifth dimensional ways of being. Faith, which is yin, and trust, which is yang, will be incremental in 2026 to become fully balanced in your life. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries will be a significant astrological event spanning from May 2025 to February 2027, with the most intense period occurring early 2026, right around the corner. These two pair up every 36 years. Saturn has a shorter duration in zodiac signs, usually every 2.5 years to 3 years, and has to catch up to Neptune's 14-year cycle. These two powerhouse planets are almost conjunct right now. It started back in July, actually, around July 15th, at about half a degree of an orb. The exact conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in Aries will occur on February 20th, 2026, at 0 degrees, 45 minutes. This is a major astrological event, and according to Rick Levine, master astrologer extraordinaire, we haven't had an exact connection like this in 3,000 to 4,000 years. Saturn will leave Aries on April 12th, 2028, marking the end of this particular transit, and Neptune will remain in Aries until March 2039. So let's zero in on what this all means. Saturn is a planet bringing the gifts of self-mastery, successful career, fulfillment of long-term goals, rules governing laws, strategy, and its favorite word is structure. Let's now zero in on Neptune, which will leave Aries in 2039. Neptune is a planet bringing gifts of dreams, desires, and intuition. Neptune in Aries ignites energy. Neptune in Aries brings inspiration into action. So we have an opportunity to deeply look at our dreams and desires right now, and do they align with our career and goals, which bring us to how Saturn and Neptune in a conjunction may affect one another. So during this long-term conjunction, you may experience challenges around how you perceive grief and loss, as well as not feeling you are getting what you want, choose, and possibly feeling a loss of what has been known. There may be past pain resurfacing, especially around patterns you just don't want to change. Ask yourself, where do I feel stuck in the muck? Two areas stand out: addictive avoidance patterns and its opposite of hyper-responsibility or hyper-independence patterns. Of course, I'm describing codependency. What can be promising is at some point you may realize you can't breathe life into something that is already dead. On the flip side, you may discover more about what is working, and the light may shine on the way toward a new path, which we have an opportunity for in early 2026. So for my fellow star seeds that love this information, here we go. There are several star families that will be traveling with us on this conjunction journey through the Pegasus constellation, especially through the fixed stars Shiat and Markab. So mermaids unite. And what is so interesting is this is the year of the fire horse, And I see a correlation with the winged horse of Pegasus playing out through many astrological alignments. So be sure to mark your calendar for February 20th, 2026, as this is being considered the beginning of a reset point. And I think I would like to pull up my share screen if that's possible here. Let me give it a try. I don't do this very often, but I actually practiced a little bit here, and I hope you all can see it. So we have here Saturn in Aries at that 0.45 minutes. Ignore the house because that's just for the area in which I live. You'd need to go on our galacticastrochart.com and put in the information of February 20th, 2026, but put it in with the city in which you live, and you'll find out what house it is going to affect. What I want you to look at right here is the Pegasus, that shows the constellation, conjunct, which means it's merging together, Shiat, which is the fixed star, okay? And then if we look down here, we see the Neptune in Aries at 0 and 45 minutes, same house. So when you look at your personal house, it will be the same. And here we are again. We have the Pegasus constellation conjunct Shiat. So this is very unusual, okay? So be open to the guidance from these beautiful star families. In fact, if you are a Shiat starseed, you may realize you're not as concerned with the third dimension and are far more interested in spirituality as interdimensional travelers who access different realms. Shiat starseeds may help others access their cosmic origin and blueprint as well. Shiat starseeds may feel drawn toward shamanic journeying, astral travel, and deeper meditation techniques. So I'm going to stop my share screen here and be back with you. Okay, time to return to our discussion about the major planetary transits and retrogrades. And guess what? There are no Mercury retrogrades in the remainder of December 2025 all the way through February 26th, 2026. So forward movement is available, at least for a month or so. It's time to move. If you've been trying to launch ideas and projects, improving relationships, wherever it is, it's time for forward movement. So in 2026, we will have Mercury retrogrades, and they're going to be in the water sign. So if you have a water sun, moon, or rising, please listen up. Pisces will be from February 26th at 22 degrees through March 20th, and that will come in when we come back direct, it'll be at 8 degrees. And then when we hit in the summer with Cancer, the sign of Cancer, it'll be June 29th at 26 degrees. And then when we go direct, it will be July 23rd at 16 degrees. And then finally, the third retrograde of 2026 for Mercury will be in Scorpio, October 24th at 20 degrees, and then goes direct November 13th at 5 degrees. So just to give you a little preview of the February 26th Mercury retrograde, the Sun in Pisces, again, will be on February 26th at 22 degrees, will be conjunct the fixed star Deneb adage of the Cygnus constellation. And it will have an opposition to Draco and the fixed star Thuban. And Mercury in Pisces will be conjunct fixed star Markov of Pegasus constellation with an Orion square, especially Mintaka. So there will be another square with Capella in the Auriga constellation, and then finally Rasselhog in the Ophiuchus, that's it, Ophiuchus constellation. So On March 20th, 2026, when Mercury goes direct, the sun will be in Aries at that 8-degree conjunct Shiat in Pegasus constellation. And Mercury in Pisces will be opposing Thuban in Draco constellation. So what does this all mean? I know it's a lot of technical stuff. Um, when, but in essence, when we have squares and oppositions, especially with Orion and Draco connections. They may be outlining galactic heritage challenges, which spawned things like the Black League, for example, who came to fight against the oppressive forces in Orion and were successful, by the way. Also, the ancient dragons of Thuban, Izar, and other galactic connections also helped to transmute and transform the lower reptilian energies into much higher frequencies, to the point that the reptilians became so uncomfortable in the light that they decided to leave. So this is an example of how I can look at your galactic chart and intuit and reference the stories interwoven into your astrological alignments. All righty, so some good news. There is no Mars retrograde in 2026. Oh my God, let's do the happy dance. Woo! Mars won't retrograde until early 2027, and it will be so from January 10th to April 1st of 2027. So yes, it goes direct on April Fool's Day, but I'm not fooling. It is so wonderful. Mars retrograde, we went through that in 2024, that last part of 2024, which was so dark and difficult, if you recall. So yay, no Mars retrograde next year. Also, more good news. There is no Venus retrograde until October of 2026. And it will be retrograding in Virgo. And it starts on October 3rd at 8 degrees. And then it will move in by the 26th of October. It's going to move into Libra. And it'll go direct on November 14th at 22 degrees. I always like it when I see this kind of combination. So we're starting out at the lower frequency, we're learning something, and then we're coming out in the third decan, which will be at 22. So we're going to have learned something, and we are going to be applying it into our spirituality. That's powerful. Not so happy when I see it going the other way, but there's reasons these things happen. We learn no matter what. So, what can we all expect in 2026? Well, first off, release all of your expectations. Expectations will only limit the possibilities opening in the much heralded 2026. This much I can share. There are many opportunities for moving forward personally and professionally. Again, expectations will shrink the expansive energies being offered through many amazing transits happening. So what are some of these major transits for 2026? There is a new Aquarius Leo solar eclipse axis, as well as the continuation of Pisces Virgo lunar nodes, which brings in all of the elements of air, fire, water, and earth. Nobody is going to be left out of these eclipses. So there will be a solar eclipse in Aquarius February 17, then a total lunar eclipse in Virgo March 3rd, also a total solar eclipse in Leo August 12th, and a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces August 28th, marking significant themes of the air element with innovation, earth element with discernment, fire element with generosity, and water element with escapism. As we harmonize our personal development with connection to others, I will dive more deeply into these eclipses and the elemental connections in a future video. So our planet Neptune, the enchanted dreamer, re-enters Aries on January 26, 2026, and will remain in Aries until March 23 to 2039. Yes, 2039. Okay, these are long transits with only a brief dip into Taurus in 2038, testing out the water, so to speak. Our planet Saturn, the structured leader, is re-entering fiery Aries on February 13th, 2026 through April 12th, 2028. Saturn in Aries may offer each of us an opportunity to become a passionate disciple for divine order. The key is to surrender to the divine, receiving clear guidance and freedom from our limiting ego expectations. Our planet Uranus, the freedom-loving innovator, is re-entering Gemini on April 26, 2026, and will continue there until August 3rd, 2032. Another very long transit. Moving into Cancer to test the waters of its new home. Then it's going to move back to Gemini and on December 12th, 2032 until May 22nd, 2033. And then it officially goes into Cancer, its new home. So our planet Jupiter, the joy bringer, will enter Leo on June 30th, 2026, and will remain there until July 26, 2027. The last time we had Jupiter in Leo was in July 2014 through August 2015. What was happening in your life then? I so many astrologers ask that, and I never remember. I don't know if you do. I really got to get better at journaling a little bit more. I don't think there was anything quite significant by that time. I think my husband had retired, so maybe life got a little better. But 2013, there was difficulty, but that's so I'm looking at that as a positive when I think back at that time. So Jupiter in Leo may bring more generosity, joyfulness, playfulness, but yet watch out for the over-the-top drama and attention-seeking behavior, which may turn people off. So last but not least is our planet Pluto in 2026, which is now solidly in Aquarius, may be playing out the themes of deep societal transmutation, freedom, loving innovation, and universal change, especially during its retrograde from May 9th to October 11th of 2026. This transit encourages personal evolution with broader social shifts, challenging old structures and empowering progressive visions, especially affecting how individuals find their voice in community and embrace future-focused ideas. All right, a little more good news. I will be sharing a year ahead look for 2026 and how it will affect each zodiac sign. That would be, you'd look at your sun, your moon, and your rising. And I'm going to share which gemstone will be best for each of the signs in 2026. So keep a lookout for my second video coming out soon. I don't know if you've noticed behind me, we were in Sedona recently. That's what this picture is. And boy, was it incredible. If you get a chance to go there, please do. It is worth every moment. The energy there is amazing. Well, I felt impulsed to pull a card and haven't done this on my own video yet. And I hope you all can see this, but this is Beyond Lemuria by Izzy Ivy. And the card that came out is Shine Your Light, which is kind of perfect. I think my hand is on there. There we go. Shine Your Light, which is a strong message, I feel, for 2026, especially with the fire horse and the winged horse. There's a lot of shining of light going on in 2026. So in essence, it's time to live for what you love and no longer be haunted by running from what you fear. Okay. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Okay. Love, light on verifiable experience. So think about that. Who is in your life right now that supports you and really truly loves you unconditionally? Really think about that. Journal about that. Look at it. What are we chasing? If we're chasing after something that really doesn't want us, we are just with the false evidence appearing real. We are living in a fantasy. So I feel in this transitional time that we're going to be going through, until I think that kind of magical date that I spoke of, February 20th, 2026, that might be somewhat of a turning point, a reset point. So you may really want to take time to look at your life. And again, I'll say it one more time, to live for what you love and no longer be haunted by running from what you fear. Okay. So, one last little commercial about our Quantum Soul Guidance Summit, which will be available January 12th through the 15th. Now, you need to sign up, um, and I will include the address of how to sign up, the email. And my talk is going to be held on Tuesday, January 13th at 12:50 p.m. Again, the title is Shamanic Starseeds. It's Elemental, a journey from Avalon to Lemuria through the second dimension. Now, the star seeds that I will be focusing on, this is just a little, like a, what do they call it, a spoiler, but I will be talking about the Pleiadians and the Sirians. So if you have any of that in your chart, you're going to love that. I get into some really great details with that as well. As in addition to talking about, of course, Lemuria and Avalon and the elementals. I have a beautiful guided imagery that's included in this presentation. And actually, it's a guided imagery that came from my guide so many moons ago. And it's very powerful, and I use it a lot in my healing work. It's not the full thing that I do, but it's partial where you'll get some benefit, I certainly hope. So, Adriana, my granddaughter, her talk will follow mine, and she's going to delve deeply into Lyra. So please stay tuned for us both on Tuesday, January 13th, or better yet, sign up and then you can get the free replay. So thank you for subscribing, liking, and helping me to reach more people interested in hearing what I have to share. I welcome, again, your comments. And if you have questions, if you look down in my section on my at Bhakti Galactic Healing, my own YouTube channel, you'll notice I have questions in there and I do answer them. So this is what's going on in 2026. And I look forward to seeing you in my second video coming up soon. So till next time, namaste.